Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Christopher Michael Curtis Bowen, on this evening edition of Fire for Liberty, transcending all types of paradisical transitions, love, lights, and creations as we unite as beings of learning and creating, and being students as well, and all always in being pupils of a sort, to continue to transcend with our returning and uniting and our recognition and our really just our own innate ability, reuniting with all elements, all ether, plants, animals, insects, and the, of course, bird kingdom, or animal kingdom, and animal kingdom. And of course, there's a lot more beings as well, the devas and nature, who have their place in nature. And the wonderful, maybe misusing the word devas, but yes, the devas. And I want to reiterate once again on the edition that I made a long time ago. Of course, that's also true still now, of course. And then we also have that edition for the part that I spoke about, chapter 5, chapter 10, chapter 12, chapter 8, chapter 15, and chapter 7. So that's a lot of information. Condense that all into that thought form and then have that understood. Also understand the, of course, science of government, which I already mentioned, as in that form of Vedic clarity, which is transcendental, of course, in nature, allowing, of course, that transcendental nature to always increase and grow and be essential. I'm packing a lot of material in a very short amount of time. As you can see, it's only been 2 minutes and I did a lot. Anyway, so, but it's not about doing a lot. Of course, the listeners already understand that. This is very, very incredibly accelerated transformation, incredibly fast. Anyway, to continue on. Wings, of course, we're going to get wings. We have wings, technically. Light wings, don't forget your light wings. Dragon wings, like dragonfly wings. You can do bird wing, whatever kind of wings you want. But usually they're kind of dragonfly shaped. Some of them are, or just light wings, or you can think of them as dragonfly. You can type with that. Spirit, the point in the making, one, don't get too deep, or get too deep. The second point is, be united, and 3, of course, be aware of that innate power, and 4, the heart, soul, mind, body, like spirit gushing out the light that's your heart, or from the center of your heart chakra. All that jazz is necessary, or is important for, of course, evolutionary spiritual growth. Now, fantastic nature of the endlessness of what I've already reiterated and described is, of course, the importance of Brahma, Brahmic, and all those Arjuna and the mentionings that I mentioned before. Make sure that is clearly mentioned, reiterated, and of course, it's mentioned, reiterated, and accelerated. But one of the key points I want to do tonight is to reintroduce accelerated plethora of dreams, of course the tools that I hope get those dreams built, and of course the acceleration of mind, of expansion, and of creation, and of imagination, so that we can continue to build a grasp, a type of basket, if you will, or a type of carrier, like a holding container, or like a sack, like a bag, or like a basket, or like a backpack, or like a pot, like a big giant ceramic pot, or a porcelain pot, or a big container of some sort that's able to fill in lots of building blocks, per se, that contain large amounts of information that we can download and really fill up our entire, as I mentioned before, our body is full of, it's hardly filled up yet, so we have a lot of space for our library, and of course those downloads are available to us, not only from the Library of Pathologos, but also from trees, which of course it's important to stay in contact with, like touching trees, tree people, of course being aware of that type of information and knowledge gathering. It's actually very efficient. It really, really is. It'll, oh, goodness gracious. Because it's why, I'll tell you why, too. Because they're really balanced with nature. And they're really balanced with the ground. And they, from the tree description, which is a little bit more, or a tiny bit more complex and sophisticated, I'm just going to break down the simple way, and then I'll go into the more specific. It's just like feeling the ocean, kind of. Or like feeling the waves. Like when you put the water, your hand on the water, and your hand moves like along with the water. That's kind of similar to how it feels when you touch a tree, and you feel, you are instantly in tune with, it's kind of hard to grasp, but you're instantly in tune with what happened, what is happening in the present, and what's about to happen in the present. It's kind of like a synchronization kind of thing. So I definitely recommend that. And then the more detailed things is the building blocks, DNA, the library, that shuffling of information goes throughout the tree, and it imprints it onto your DNA transfer kind of thing. So that's very, very key. It's very beautiful too. The other thing is, the transcendental nature itself is the ability to, of course, continue to go higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And, of course, to be like in what was described as a heavenly realm, or spiritual realm, or in that realm of spirit. And then to be, I described it as valuable, and then I described it as infallible. And, that ascension ultimately, one, never stops, two, is always present, omniscient, and omnipresent. Which is a good thing. Very positive. And the positive fact of just being able to fully immerse into that existence of ultimate light, beauty, transcendence, and unity, and truth. So cool. It is so cool. It is so fascinating. It is so beautiful. It's so special. And it's so important. And I say those things because it allows us to not only grasp what we already know, which is everything, but it allows us to, of course, do what is already known, which is to not only kind of build our own sort of, and I mean this in a very positive way, our own traits and hobbies and mechanisms of development, mind things, but also our, it's a very extraordinary power, and that's ultimately what we're getting into. So I'm just gonna go straight into it, dive into some things I'm mentioning. Magic definitely is going to be more prevalent. EMI, electromagnetic mastery intelligence. We're also going to do TRI, which is transdimensional radiationalistic intelligence. Radiationalistic. Also MME, which is multicreational, multi-paradisical intelligence. Or evolution. And then we have multicreational evolutionism. We have Multicreationistical, which is also an enhanced version of the power that I mentioned earlier, a few weeks ago, something like that. And time is relative, obviously, but that ability, as well as the ability of limitlessness, unlimited power, unlimited wisdom, unlimited might, unlimited intelligence. And then, there are keys that unlock doors, and then they open up much revelations, and then you, of course, open up more avenues and ways to be a sage, for example, or a Brahmin, or a monk, or a super being, or whatever you want to do. If you have a specific hobby like flying, then that's your specific hobby that can add on perhaps super strength, or add on proprioception, or many ultimately different things. So that is the blessing and the wondrous things. And of course, this is ultimately the revelation and the evolution and the ability to not only recognize but constantly reiterate. And I mean only in the fire of liberty, which is kind of limiting unnecessarily, of course, the spirit of, fire is ultimately always in motion. And freedom in love and light and spirit. I love you all. We shall continue to transcend, create paradise on earth, and love all beings in creation. Love you all.